3.
We're recording.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Two Black Girls, One Rose.
Where two black-ass girls invade the whitest show on earth,
The Bachelorette.
I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And we just watched the two-part dramatic finale of Hannah B's season of The Bachelorette.
Yep.
Good God. Where do we start?
I know. I had so many thoughts. I was trying to get it together before this, but I have like a page of initial thoughts.
Too.
It's too much.
I know. My initial thoughts are long and all over the place, so hopefully it comes out sounding decent. But good thing you go first. So what's your initial thoughts, Justine?
So first and foremost, because I will never stop being a champion for this man, if they pick Peter for this fucking next Bachelor season, I am going to kill someone.
I'm going to petition. I'm going to write a letter.
Yeah.
I am going to do a hunger strike outside of ABC down in Midtown. I'm not watching Peter as the Bachelor, 1, because of the whole girlfriend foolishness, and 2, because Mike would be so much more interesting. So no, I don't even, no, sorry to cut you off. No, I can't even imagine that future. No.
But I saw on Twitter, everybody's like, Peter for Bachelor, Peter for Bachelor, Peter for Bachelor. People were doing polls and Peter was winning, Peter for Bachelor. And so
we're just going to ignore the whole
I know.
Okay, sorry. I can't.
My thing is with Peter for Bachelor is that he is a very non-traditional choice. And Mike is a very traditional choice. But nobody's seeing that because Mike is black.
Yes, thank you. Because if Mike were white with that $1 million smile and everybody's been loving him, he would have been the shoo-in. But because he's black, suddenly he's an option, you know.
Right. And he's a fucking, he's a fucking veteran. Like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He's a military vet. They haven't had one of those in a minute. I don't think they've ever had a military vet as a bachelor.
He has
Not that I remember.
A good job, loves his mom, all this. And Peter had a very, non-traditional. It was still great, and there was nothing wrong with his hometown, but it was just not very traditional hometown. And he has a very, immature type of personality to me. And it's just not the exact perfect option that I see Mike as. So if Mike doesn't find love in paradise and he's not the Bachelor, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. This meaning live the rest of my life. I don't know how I'm gonna
Oh my God. And Mike is also 31.
Yeah.
He is he's been, propose to his last girlfriend, the one that he spoke about, the miscarriage. He's lived some life.
Yeah.
Went through a proposal, had a very devastating miscarriage that he went through. He speaks very eloquently about what he wants, what he's looking for. He's very serious. Ain't no skeletons, current girlfriend's gonna be popping up. Peter. So come on, this is the Bachelor we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Fuck.
For real. Yeah. And into my next segue, into my next initial thought, which is this show's formula that we have seen, that I have seen, let me speak for myself, out of the 4 seasons that I've watched in total, or 5, it's only worked for 2 people, the way that it's intended to. So Rachel and Becca were the only people who got engaged to the people that they picked, and now they're riding off into the sunset.
Yeah. In a very traditional ending, yes.
Yeah. So clearly this formula is not working anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it was ever working, girl. His track record is atrocious, but okay.
Yeah, but the people at least get on the couch and they're like, we're happy and we're in love. Didn't Caitlin Bristow do that with her, fiance?
Yeah, she did.
You know what I mean? People would sit there and be like, yes, this works for me. At least by the time they got on the couch. Now people already wait till they get on the goddamn couch. Oh my God. It's falling apart all over the place. And seeing a woman fall in love with herself was a much more beautiful process, and I wish they would have gone more in the direction of that narrative rather than the direction of the engagement narrative. Because it would have changed my opinions of Hannah from day one. I would have understood that humongous budget promo that they did for her. I would have understood all of this, that she has gone through all these breakdowns a lot more clearly if they would have told that story rather than the like, and she got engaged and rode off into the sunset story.
I mean, I think that wasn't the approach. They didn't go in telling that story, but I feel like we still did get that story. You don't think so?
We got it in the end, but I wish they would have just championed it more.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I didn't hear Chris Harrison say self-love at all.
This is true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she kind of came out and said it on her own. Like, I've grown as a woman. I'm more confident, blah, blah, blah. But we never got the questions from him to kind of, like, really segment, you know, or cement what the narrative should be or whatever.
And then, okay, last initial thought. This poor girl has been manipulated this entire show. This whole time. She was being manipulated by...
thrown around like a rag doll.
So many different people. And this and Luke P in the same, like, 6 weeks is a very intense thing to go through. And just shows me, and I'm talking about myself as a Christian woman, that she is an embodiment of a warrior of Christ. And someone who lives in the Word, lives and breathes in the Word. And seeing her dance to Truth Hurts on Instagram, I was like, this is foreshadowing, because the lyrics to Truth Hurts is literally like her life. And if anybody doesn't know that I'm talking about Truth Hurts by Lizzo, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what she was talking about.
No, what? I'm about to hang up the Skype.
What was I was humming something in my head. What song?
Well, I was thinking of
Lizzo. Okay.
Current song by Lizzo. Look up the lyrics.
I know. I'm behind in music.
They are her life. Like, the first line is, you could have had a bad bitch, non-committal, help you with your career just a little. Like, this is Hannah's life. Right? And then also realized from Twitter that Jed is literally a poet in drag. And that's it. Yep.
I mean, a musician, a songwriter, ain't nothing but a poet to some songs.
Nothing but a poet in drag.
And what did Justine tell y'all?
About these poets.
About these poets.
What are your thoughts, Sash?
She said a poet in drag. That's hilarious. Oh. My turn?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I said, what are your thoughts?
Yes. So my thoughts, as you said, like, these endings just keep getting better and better, more crazier and crazier. Even Rachel, even though it was a very traditional ending, we had that crazy breakup with Peter, Ari switcheroo with Lauren B and Becca, Becca on the couch talking about Garrett's Trump fucking ways, Colton had a homegirl at the end, wouldn't even know, can't even call her a girlfriend. And now Hannah. So I don't know what this show's becoming, but it's a fucking mess and it's great television.
It is.
And I had a great time watching this season. I keep thinking, like, we straight up legit were not going to recap this
We
season.
almost just quit this whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Like, we were planning a life outside of the podcast. Like, what I would do with my Monday nights.
Yep.
Like, we were not coming back because we were really not trying to watch Hannah B, who, at that time in our heads, she was that homegirl who gave that whack-ass toast, who couldn't piece words together, who, to this day, still gave one of the wackest one-on-one dates with Colton ever.
Oh, yeah.
The one-on-one date with him was horrendous. We were not trying to find that. Hell, we were not trying to watch that girl find love. Not to mention the fact that she's also 24, which is still preposterous to me. But at that time, we were like, oh, hell no. Mm-hmm. But I must say, I'm very happy that we stuck around.
Me too.
Because Hannah was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this season.
Yep.
I mean, she put us through hell with Luke. Mm-hmm. Through just hell and back. But otherwise, I feel like she, and this kind of echoes a lot of my thoughts from last week, she really conducted herself in a manner that really surprised me with her level of like maturity, her like self-awareness and personal development. We had a whole segment called Hannah Used Her Words, which we kind of just scrapped because she was reading people left and right by the end. Like, she didn't find her words. This bitch could talk. Like, she got a lot to say. She demonstrated like immense strength and confidence. Honestly, she at 24 appears to be in a better place than I was at 24. Oh, honestly.
Definitely.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that at 24, I was not trying to get married. So there was a level of personal development that I wasn't even striving for yet because I was still young and out here in these streets. So to be 24 and talk about you want to get married, I'm expecting you to have a level of maturity. Mm-hmm. And she really came with that. And I couldn't help but feel very proud watching her, even through this very treacherous ending, like tonight's, not just Luke P, but like tonight's ending. Yeah. Like very proud of the way she handled Jed, the way she's like holding her head up high through this mess. I loved how she literally put a period, shut the door on Jed. She did not leave it open. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, we'll see what happens. Or like she let him know, like, I have grace for you. I know this has been rough for you, but I'm no longer in love with you. Those feelings have died. Like she really like did whatever work she needed to get through this mess, and standing very strong independently on her own, and it's very admirable and very surprising for coming into the season who I thought we were going to watch. And so very pleasantly surprised. Her decisions, of course, weren't always perfect. And she was extremely frustrating most of the season to watch with this Luke P foolishness. But in kind of recollecting the season in my head, I will say there's 3 decisions that she made that really, really impressed me. Oh, okay. Particularly for her age and just her maturity, and just really shown as someone who did the damn thing as the Bachelorette. I would say the first is, if you go back a couple episodes, the episode where she was wearing that beautiful white dress and the guys were all fighting, and she came in and like yelled at them, berated them, and flat out told them that ain't none of you know shit about me because none of you guys asked me anything. All we do is talk about stupid ass shit. Like, that moment for me, I think that moment, a lot of guys just like fell in love with her at that moment. I think that's a moment that probably stuck with Tyler, because I remember Tyler immediately after that was like, oh, this girl, like, I'm down for this girl. Yeah. And I like that she did that. She came in and was like, look, I'm here to mean business. I'm tired of talking about surface shit. We need to start digging deeper. A second moment that obviously stood out to me is obviously the way she stood up to Luke about her sexuality and just owning it and being bold and unapologetic about it. Again, demonstrated a level of maturity and just confidence to be able to get on national television and do that, and be a Christian woman on top of that and do that. And then third, and we've talked about this last episode too, was just the way she handled the fantasy suites with Tyler. And making that decision, going in, saying, I'm not having sex, we're going to talk, and really made it about them building their emotional connection because she knew that's what they needed. And I think those 3 decisions just like really impressed me because, I mean, with Becca, with Rachel, they've all made decisions that I didn't like or, you know, things that didn't impress me. But for Hannah in particular, it's just because we've really watched her grow up, essentially, like, on the show. And, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm rooting for her like a big sister in a way, honestly.
I was going to say, like a little sister, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't have any little sisters, but I'm watching her, and I'm like, come on, Hannah, you got this. Like, seeing her mess up and fail and make these decisions, and those 3 moments really stuck out to me, and made me very proud and happy to cheer her on as the Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. Now, this ending was horrifying, and shows again that the real world continues to, like, impede into the show.
Yes.
Like, because of social media, because all these skeletons. It's impossible to hide a fucking girlfriend. Like, Jed,
impossible.
I don't know what the fuck you think you were going to do. Jed, Peter, everybody. Like, it's impossible with the internet to hide anything. Come on. And so here we have another ending where, as viewers, we kind of already knew, like, everyone's known about Jed's foolishness for weeks now. So we can only guess that he won the show, or he was chosen at the end. We don't read spoilers, but I've read enough stuff to kind of figured out the ending. Yeah. And so I just keep pushing back on the show as to, like, how are they going to... Are they okay that this keeps happening? That the endings kind of keep getting revealed before the ends happen? I mean, it does still make good television, but it kind of... We lose the mystery and we lose the mystique or whatever that the show used to have. I don't know.
And the point of the show. This is not the point of the show.
Thank you. The point of the show is not for, like, shit shows to happen and the lead to get their heart broken.
No. And for somebody to curse somebody out. This is not the point. Right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a fairy tale happy ending. That's what we're supposed to be watching, but we haven't gotten that in a couple seasons. So, oh no. But regardless, still fantastic television, even though it was a shit show, and I feel for Hannah at the end. This season gave a lot to talk about in regards to some really important topics: owning your sexuality, toxic relationships, emotional abuse, gaslighting, like all of that stuff. And did I enjoy the season? I definitely enjoyed it. I'm glad we did the recap. Do I want to watch another 24-year-old? I'm not sure. Ooh. I think I am overdue for a more mature person, i.e. 31-year-old Mike.
Yes. And honestly, at like 7:58, speaking of like missing people, I was like, damn, I miss Insecure.
Oh my God. When does Insecure come back?
2020.
What month?
Who knows? Probably October.
Isn't it a summer show?
It is. It's typically a summer show.
So that we have to wait a whole another year. Oh, they playing. I can't. Nope. That's wild. I don't even remember none of the damn plot lines by then. Jesus.
Oh my God. I was just like, man, I'm missing grown women on TV.
Grown women find love. Jesus. But anyways, shout out to the Patreon crew. Woo-hoo. Truly shout out to you guys. Of all shout outs. I mean, you brought us here for this season.
You did.
And I must thank you because I've had a grand old time watching it. And very surprised by how my mind has changed from beginning to end, and from not being a Hannah fan to now I'm like, hell yeah, go Hannah. So thank you, because we could have never even gotten to that conclusion if y'all didn't bring us back. So shout out to y'all. Yep. As always, rate, review, subscribe on all of the platforms that you listen to us on. Hit us up on Twitter. We will be back next week recapping Bachelor in Paradise. We're not going anywhere, and Paradise is about to be fucking messy as hell.
Liddy. Paradise is going to be good.
God. Paradise is going to be good, and we're going to be here next Monday and Tuesday live tweeting. Our handle is the number 2 BLK Girls, the number 1 Rose.
And episodes for that will drop on Thursdays.
Yes.
And you can email us at the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose at gmail.com. You can Instagram us, you can Facebook us, all that stuff.
If you're listening right now, don't forget to tag us in your story, take a screenshot, let everybody know that our finale recap has dropped. Share us with the world. We love it. We always repost it to our story. Continue to grow this community. Before we get into the recap, Justine, I know we have just a few lovely church announcements. Take us to church. What about your programs?
So we just have a couple of church announcements. We got some love and some more travel tips, some more solo travel tips for me. So thanks, guys.
Everybody's like so distraught over your Woodstock experience, and this is just sending us so much every day.
So thank you guys. Honestly, I don't know if I'll be going to any of the states that are in the shape of squares by myself, but I'll look into your recommendations. But thank you for the love, Jennifer, Susan, Lindsay, and Mitty. Just gave us some love, gave us some tips. So shout out to you guys. And that was it. Is there any Bachelor Nation news this week?
No, just this recap, girl.
All right, let's go.
Let's dive on in because we're going to be here forever.
3 hours.
4 hours of content to recap. Jesus Christ. All right, so we open up. This is yesterday's episode, part 1 of the finale. Chris Harrison is on stage. First thing, do you notice he always says finale?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this, Chris?
He thinks he's like more important than, you know.
But you know damn well it's pronounced finale. Stop. Anyways, Chris Harrison is on stage and is saying that what we're going to witness these next 2 nights is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Will she get engaged? And if she does, will her story have a happy ending? Maybe not. So basically, he gave away the whole damn show at the very beginning.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I can put that 2 and 2 together. Like today is Monday and tomorrow's Tuesday. Okay.
Thank you for revealing everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been trying to avoid spoilers this whole time, but thanks. So anyways, we first have to go back to the rose ceremony in Greece. So Luke has finally kicked rocks, but we're still left with Peter, Tyler, and Jed, who is wearing his Build-A-Bear brown suit.
Did you know it had stripes?
It had stripes?
It
did have a little texture to it. It was kind of like corduroy.
Oh, God.
I still like the suit. I still, for some reason, I don't know, something about it. It was a nice brown.
Okay.
Nice brown. So they are still waiting because somebody has to go home. Jed, he says, if I get a rose, that's one step closer to getting engaged. Which I feel like he said that in a way, almost like a Freudian slip. Like he's freaking out right now.
Oh yeah.
Inside.
He's been freaking out since Hometowns.
Oh, yeah. Jed has not smiled in like 4 episodes. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
His face is so stone-faced because he is freaking the fuck out that he is still on this show and his plan was to go home on week 3. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So he's freaking the fuck out. Tyler is over here beaming. Hannah's everything I've ever wanted. Peter's over here beaming again. I've never felt this immensely for someone. I know we're meant to be together. So Hannah comes back out. She's still wearing that terrible ass, my big fat gypsy wedding dress. Horrible. I wanted so much better for her.
I know, me too.
This is an awful dress and such a pivotal moment. And she just says how she feels so loved and this is very hard for her. She said this is hard not because she's breaking someone else's heart right now, but also because she's breaking her own heart.
Yeah.
Just terrible. The first rose goes to Jed.
Goes to Build-A-Bear.
Which, after the hometown that he gave us, his parents fucking hate him. And this whole situation.
Why isn't he gone?
How is he still getting first roses? I knew Tyler was gonna get it, and it was Jed. I'm like, did we not just experience the hometown that we just had? And then also their whole last overnight date, he was fighting with her about Luke. How is he getting?
That's right. And he wouldn't leave her alone. He's been fighting with her about Luke for a while. The nerve. So Tyler is looking very
terrified at this moment. So you have Peter, who's kind of keeping it all together, and then Tyler, who literally is like on the verge of tears, absolutely terrified. Like, this is very real for him. Lucky thing is, the next rose goes to Tyler. So Peter is going home.
Aww.
And in this moment, I bet he is regretting breaking up with his girlfriend back before going on the show. And yeah, so Hannah, she walks him out, and she's like absolutely in shambles. This is definitely her hardest goodbye to date. She's like bawling tears. And she doesn't really have an explanation for him. She just says, like, everything about our relationship was perfect. You're like the dream guy.
You're the Ken to my Barbie.
You're the Ken to my Barbie. There's literally nothing wrong. Like, she doesn't have an answer because there's nothing to tell him,
nothing
really.
to say. This usually happens around this point. I feel like it's either the third or the fourth person who goes home where they're like, I just can't explain it, but you just gotta go.
Yeah. Exactly. So Peter, he kept it together very well and just said, you know, I don't regret any of this. You'll always have a piece of my heart. Obviously this sucks, it hurts. And then we see her walk him to the SUV where he finally shows some emotion and breaks down because this is the final moment.
He looks like a little puppy dog.
I know. You're like literally you're hugging the person that you're in love with for the very last time and know that you will never be with them ever again. Like, it's the toughest thing ever. And they could
possibly in 6 weeks go to a beach and get drunk as shit for 3 weeks and get engaged to somebody else.
Someone else. Exactly. Yep. So he boards in the SUV. He literally looked like a sad puppy.
He did. He looked like a sad golden retriever.
Sad golden. Yep. And just still talks about how he just, you know, he's not mad at Hannah and he's not regretting anything about this journey, but this hurts like a bitch, like he said. So we head back to the live studio audience, and Peter is on stage with Chris Harrison. He just watched that clip for the first time with everybody else. My first question was, are we going to talk about your girlfriend scandal or no?
I had that question at the very end when we did not ask about the girlfriend scandal.
Yeah.
But I was like,
he just got off scotch-free.
Yeah.
Nothing. So Peter's on stage. He's looking tan as shit.
Yes,
that Cuban blood was
I forgot.
on overdrive.
I forgot that he was Cuban, and then when they panned to his mom, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yep. Dark as hell. Yeah. Natural, too. That's the natural tan. And he's just, you know, always raving about Hannah. She's honestly the most amazing person I've ever met in my life thus far.
Wow. Wow.
Just really big superlatives. And that's a big statement. She's the most amazing person I've met in my life thus far.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. And how he just never had any doubt in us. And finally we pan over and we see his parents in the audience, his amazing mother, who, I love my mother, but I also love the shit out of Peter's mother. If I could choose another mother in this world, I might choose her.
Definitely.
Just her energy.
Yeah.
She's like in the audience, she's crying, but she's like mouthing "I love you" and blowing kisses to him.
Yeah.
It was just so adorable.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
actually reminded me of how Hannah was before all of this turmoil happened to her. How she was just so like warm and would just like love everyone. And, you know, just
so she got her heart stomped on by 8 different people.
Yeah, right. In 6 weeks, then, not anymore. But
so his mom's there. She just talked about how rough it is to watch as a mother and, you know, wanting to take his pain away and all that stuff. And so Chris Harrison is asking him, like, when did you know that Hannah was the one? And he said in Latvia, which I think was their first one-on-one date, which is wild. Oh my God,
that's right.
Because you've literally just spent like a significant chunk of time with this person, and that's when you knew she was the one.
Yeah.
That's a lot, bro. Chris Harrison, of course, asks the question I fucking hate: are you still in love with her?
Yeah, I hate that question.
And I hate that question. He says, like, it's been 2 months. It takes time. She'll always have a piece of my heart. Like, I'll always still love her. It's like the same answer we always get.
Yeah.
So after the commercial break, Hannah comes out looking absolutely amazing. This is probably one of my favorite dresses I've seen on the show ever. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how to describe it. It was royal blue. Mm-hmm. It was like a cobalt. No, not cobalt. It was like a royal blue.
Yeah. I would say it was like a gem tone.
Yes, gem tone blue. It was one long sleeve, but then the shoulder was like out on that side.
Yes.
You know? And then the other side was like swept up and it was like sleeveless on the other side. It had a little ruching action. It was like a midi length. It was just everything.
Yeah, it was so, and the whole look, the ponytail, the slick ponytail.
Yes.
It was so good.
This is definitely one of her best. She's had a lot of great looks. Great evening gown looks, because some of her like other outfits.
Them pink leather jackets can go, but the rest
had to go. But she had a lot of great evening looks, and this one by far was like, I think my favorite. I love this dress. Anyways, Peter, back to Peter. He asks, of course, the question that never gets a satisfying answer. You know, can you tell me, like, try and pinpoint a moment that you realized it wasn't us? And Hannah just says, you know, there wasn't really anything wrong. I really thought into the end that you would be the one meeting my family. I was falling in love with you, but I was also falling in love with 2 other guys.
Yeah.
But then Hannah continues on. So she's trying to search. She's searching because she wants to give him an explanation. And she tells him, you know, maybe I wish I knew a bit sooner how you felt. I think, I felt that you were scared to fall in love with me. And I think if there's something that I can find, I think, that you were just a bit apprehensive about sharing your feelings, and I wish I knew sooner. She said, I felt it, but I just didn't know. And you can tell she's really searching, and this is why I hate when, like, Peter and the people who, like, get their heart broken ask this question, because usually you're going to get this kind of answer. They're searching, and then you're just going to go home and kick yourself and be like, fuck, I should have said something sooner. Like, I don't think any of this is productive, you know?
Yeah, I do. And it's like a catch-22, because you really want the answer. You really want to know why it wasn't you. And I guess if you haven't watched the show like we have, you don't know that it's the same fucking answer every single time somebody sits on this goddamn couch. So, I mean, I guess, and then you do go home and say, oh, well, in this moment I could have said this, and in this moment I could have said that. Yeah. But either way, you're going to be thinking about the past when you shouldn't be.
It's not productive anyway, so... and then another question he asked, which I thought was a good one. He said, you always refer to our relationship as a slow burn.
Yeah.
Which she did. And he's like, I don't understand why were you saying that, or where was that coming from?
Good question, Peter.
Which was a very good question. And she said, you know, what we had was very passionate. And I think you not expressing emotionally how you felt slowed me from jumping head in. So we were always continually progressing, but it was kind of like a slow progression.
Emotional progression,
slow emotional progression. And then Chris Harrison, tries to cut the tension, says, on a lighter note, no one will ever look at a windmill the same. And then Hannah drops a bomb on us that she said, I was a little dishonest about something. I did say that we did it twice in the windmill, but actually it was 4 times.
That's wild.
The crowd went wild. Talk about stamina. They were not in that windmill for that long.
That's what 4 times, Peter. 4 times is a lot.
That's 2 at night, 2 in the morning, I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Wow. Shit.
That's a lot, because the cameras come in the morning at some point.
Yeah.
So did y'all get up extra early and throw down twice?
Maybe. Or they just didn't sleep.
Or they just did all night long.
Ugh.
But also, damn, Peter, because that recovery period, he just went back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive. Very impressive. It's not like they had a weekend together. That was
No,
one
it
night,
was
y'all.
just literally like 8 hours. Like,
Yes. It's wild. So, of course, the crowd was going crazy. The mom was, like, screaming and clapping.
That was weird. Very weird. But
very strange.
I
The
guess.
dad was looking proud. Chris Harrison stood and saluted him. It was like a whole, it was a whole thing. So anyways, after a commercial break, we head back to the footage, back to Crete in Greece. And Hannah, she's talking about her two final guys. She has Jed, who she said has been very stable. He's like a forever best friend and a partner. And Tyler, he's so confident and supportive. Now, Hannah's parents are now in Crete, and they're going to be meeting the boys. And she heads to meet them in this beautiful home, and Tyler is the first up to meet the family. And they're going to be meeting the dad, the mom. I think there's some other random people there that they didn't really name.
They didn't. No camera time, no nothing. No mic.
No camera time. Yeah. No even nameplate at the bottom.
Nope.
Like who the person. Nothing.
No. I feel like I ask you this every season, but who would you have if you were the Bachelorette there? Because I feel like I'd have my parents and then additional people.
I would just have my parents, my sister, and my brother.
Okay.
I think that's it. Maybe my sister-in-law, too, because she asks good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dorian, Geneva, my brother, my sister, and, my parents. I think that's it. Who would you have?
I would have my urban family with me.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Bringing in all your friends, too?
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, because my mom and dad, they're great. They're great.
They're great. I know.
They are great. And that's the problem. They're great.
They love everyone.
And they are the king and queen of love thy neighbor. And so that doesn't make them very good for interrogation.
No.
But my urban family, and especially my brother's pretty good at picking up on vibes too. But my urban family, they know immediately.
Yeah, you need people who are going to ask good questions, 100%. Yeah, I agree. My mom, she a wild card, so she might fucking embarrass me.
Yeah.
So she's definitely good to have.
That would be good TV, watching your mom.
Always good TV. And then, my dad, brother, and sister, I feel like they bring some good, some hot seat questions. So. Yeah. But anyways, so Hannah, before Tyler comes in, she lets them know, Tyler comes from divorced parents. One of his dad was very sick before coming on the show. She also tells them about fantasy suites, how they, didn't throw down. And she really needed to figure out whether she was falling in lust with Tyler or whether she was falling in love. And she says that she's now confirmed after fantasy suites that it is indeed love. But so she gave them all that kind of background information. So Hannah goes to get Tyler, who is looking just, it just looks good in anything.
Like a buffet. Even that salmon jacket.
Even that goddamn salmon jacket that we all want to burn. Yeah. If he wore it to the fucking meet the parents, he would look amazing.
Yep.
As always. So he came in, they sit and chat with the family, and Tyler's good with his words too. In the beginning, I didn't trust him because he has that face, and it always felt like lines. But now that I know that he fully loves this girl, it's words that really come from the heart, and he says a lot of profound things about her, which just warm my little heart. He told them you guys should be so proud of this girl, the way she's conducted herself. Through this whole process. And then they kind of share some little stories about how he, took dance in college, things like that. So Tyler and the mom sit and chat first, and she's asking him, how's the experience been for you? He said, Hannah's made it all worth it. If you guys have had any disagreements, let's say in the future, if you do something that she's not going to like, how will you tell her? And he just talks about, I'd be honest, I'm an open book. My parents are divorced, so I've seen what it takes to get to that type of situation. Yeah. And so honesty is everything for me. which, you know, Mr. Jed can't really say the same.
No, he can't say any of that.
Can't say not a word.
Yeah. I like how he put that, too. I like how he didn't, like, sell his parents' marriage under the bus. That's not a phrase to sell someone under the bus. Shoved his parents' marriage under the bus. And how he just kind of said that he learned from it, that he's different, and that he now knows how he wants to run his relationship. Like, I like it when people don't, you know what I mean? Like, take the lesson that they've learned and just extract the experience and not the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he just assures the mom, because she says in our family, you know, it's one and done. We ain't trying to do marriage every 5 seconds. And he says, you know, I have your daughter's best interest. I really do love her. I want her to be my wife. I want her to be my best friend. I want to be her biggest cheerleader. Just lays it on thick. The mom, she's convinced in her confessional. She says, I think he so completely loves her. He's very protective. He blew me away today. And that's the thing that, like, sticks out with Tyler, is you can feel his, like, protectiveness, which is the type of feeling you want to leave a parent with. Yeah. Like, if I'm a man coming in, I'm meeting you for the first time, talking about I'm about to propose to your daughter, like, any feeling I want to feel at the end of this day is that you're going to protect her, because I don't know you from a can of paint. Yeah. But I need to know that she's safe with you. Safe. And I feel like he left that impression with the mom, which was great. Yeah. Next, Tyler sits with the dad, and the dad, you know, asks him, you know, what was your take on the whole fantasy suite thing? And he just talks about how he respects her and really wanted that night to talk. And then he shares a little bit about how before he came on the show, his dad was really sick, and it put everything into perspective for him in his life. And then again, lays it on thick with the dad. I love your daughter. I want her to be the mother of my kids. I want her to lead my family in faith and to be that strong woman that she is. I don't have any second guessing or doubt. I love that he put that in there. Because I feel like and Tyler talks about it later, how, like, I feel like he has also done a lot of growing emotionally and spiritually through Hannah. Yeah. Because
through his experience with his dad
before, but then also with Hannah, because she pushes him to open up. He would not make it this far on the show if he didn't open up about some of the tough shit in his life. Yeah. And then spiritually, she talks about Jesus and Christ every 5 seconds, so he has no choice but to be like, oh shit, like, start to open up about his own faith and spirituality. So I love that now having her lead their family in faith is something that he's even, like, saying and, like, wanting. Yeah. It was interesting. And the dad, same thing. He's convinced. He said he was honest, sincere, and willing to step up and take care of her. Now Hannah sits with her dad, and the dad just lets her know everything went really well. You know, they talked about the fantasy suites, and he can see how much that Tyler really respects her, and, you know, she agrees. That's one thing she really loves about Tyler, is how much he respects her. And then Hannah also gets, you know, good thoughts from the mom, who same thing, just kind of co-signs him. And Hannah tells her mom that she does see she can see herself with Tyler at the end of all this. So Hannah walks Tyler out, you know, says to him she wants to tell him something, and how, you know, he's been so vulnerable with her about how he feels, and she hasn't really done the same. And she, you know, I didn't know if I was falling in lust with you this whole time, but I know I have been falling in love with you. And Tyler's just grinning from ear to ear. That's exactly what he wanted to hear. And yeah, they're so cute. They had a cute little goodbye, like hugging and kissing nonstop, and it's just telling her he loves her a million times over. They just looked so in love. The next day, we have Mr. Jed Wyatt.
Has any... never mind. We'll get to it. Sorry.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
So Hannah tells her parents that she's excited but a bit nervous. And she claims that she's nervous because, you know, I have 2 guys. It's a big decision at the end. But really, I think she's nervous because she knows her parents ain't going to like Jed.
No. Yep.
Yeah, she already knew. So Hannah says, Jed has been the one from the beginning, who's the person that I feel like can fit into my life, which I don't know where she pulled that foolishness from because that don't make no damn sense, but okay, girl. So Hannah heads out to meet Jed and loved this outfit as well.
Yes, this blue, like, kimono,
Another
caftan moment.
It was like so large and billowy.
Yes. It was
I loved it.
So great. And it's something that you can only wear if you are really thin on TV. Because otherwise you would look absolutely massive.
Because it's so big and billowy. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, but she had it. I think it had a slit in the back too, which was like bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
It had a low back, and it was also royal blue. So
her other color, gorgeous.
Her other color. So she goes out to meet Jed, and meanwhile the mama inside is saying how she's gonna give Jed a chance.
Yeah,
but Tyler set a really high bar. Exactly. So Jed is walking into not a good situation, bro. Tyler really wowed them, so good luck. So Hannah brings in and Jed, and they sit and chat, and he kind of just recalls their limo entrance, and he then tells them that he's a musician and a songwriter. And mom and dad's faces were both like, okay.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that was the moment they were like, oh, no, Tyler's the one. Get this guy out of
here. Immediately. Like, need I hear nothing else?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm good. So Jed sits with the dad. And the dad flat out says in his confessional, my one concern is how Jed is going to provide for Hannah. He heard that he's a musician, and that is the only thing he needs now to discuss. That's it. So they sit and have a chat, and the dad flat out asks, like, what are your goals in life? And Jed says, I moved to Nashville for songwriting, and kind of just like tapers off.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah, I was like, wow, we don't have any other...
Nothing else, bro?
Yeah,
no?
okay.
No. All right. So the dad continues, I'm asking about your goals because I also want to know how financially you're going to, plan to provide for Hannah. And Jed says, he just starts rambling about foolishness. He says, my goal is to have, many facets and backup plans as possible. And then he shares how my biggest accomplishment to date is that I've signed a deal with a dog food company, and I've written their jingle, and it's been, my first big real breakthrough. Now the dad,
he's done, and I am too watching this because I know from all the spoilers and Reality Steve and all the rest of this stuff that Jed is a stripper. And I don't know why Jed didn't say, I have a tax-free side hustle that I know can provide for me and Hannah. And I might have to make some sacrifices.
Right. He just said none of that. Like, gave no reassurance to this father at all.
None.
And so the dad says, sometimes financial situations can be a main problem of a marriage. And he's like, look, I work 14 to 16 hours a day to make sure my family's taken care of. So I want to make sure that Hannah's in the great situation and is in the right fit for her. So Jed is picking up what they're putting down and says in his confessional how, they don't think I'm adequate, and I can see that their main concern is the financial aspect of our relationship.
Which, that's not what they said. They didn't say you weren't adequate, Jed. They just said that you are broke.
Yeah, this is an insecurity of his. Yeah. He does not feel adequate because he knows he cannot provide for this woman.
Right.
So, and he knows he cannot look in this father's eyes and tell her that he can provide for her because he can't even provide for himself because didn't we hear that his dad pays his rent?
Yes.
I'm so sorry to be counting this man's coins like this, but hello.
Yes, we did. We did.
Oh, my God. So, Jed sits with the mom.
Oh, wait.
And
did you... We're not going to go over that. He said that this is a no return policy.
The dad said that?
Yes. He said that about marriage. Yo, I hollered aloud.
You can't take my daughter and then return her
And then
later when you
bring her
realize you
back.
can't pay the bills.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
Oh my
Exactly.
God, that was so funny. Anyway, okay, so he sits with the mom. Sorry.
Sits with the mom. Okay. And the mom says, I know your music career is going to be hard. Mm-hmm. And, hopefully, I do hope you make it big. Mm-hmm. But then it's also going to be hard.
Yeah, right.
Because that's a whole nother thing. Like, imagine he does make it big. Then we have a whole nother hurdle to get over because he's a big fucking country music star or whatever. And how the hell is he going to balance a life with Hannah? So, yeah, Jed, I don't know what he says. Nothing of substance. So, next scene, the mom and Hannah are sitting. Mm-hmm. And the mom gives one of the best lines ever about Jed. She says, he has qualities, but he's a musician. Have you thought about the lifestyle? He has qualities.
I'm going to say that
Name a quality, mama. name one. Couldn't even name one. He has qualities.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord. But she made a good point. She said, have you thought about the lifestyle? She said it's going to be a lot of hours, late night of all hours of the night, playing in bars, playing little shows here and there. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved how she spelled it out like that. Like, this musician lifestyle ain't cute in the beginning.
Right.
It's a lot of grinding and playing all hours of the night at whack-ass venues. Mm-hmm. Are you prepared for that type of lifestyle? And so the mom, she immediately tells Hannah, she's like, meanwhile, Tyler is on his own. And so Hannah obviously is not happy hearing that. She's like, I knew this was going to happen. And that's when the mom starts breaking down crying because she is terrified that her daughter is actually in love with this man who... not only is his ability to provide for her questionable, but Jed choosing this musician lifestyle, like, music is his love.
Yeah, yeah.
This, if he's really passionate about this and this is what he wants to do, that's his first priority.
Yeah, and he'll give up Hannah
like,
in a heartbeat to pursue his love of country music. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And the mama sees that. And Hannah is not really seeing that. She's thinking that she's along for the ride with him. But it's like, he's very early in his career. Like, he's going to choose opportunities over your ass if it's going to mean his career is going to be, benefit in some way.
Do you think also that Hannah's mom was nervous because we don't know what Hannah wants to do after this?
You mean...
And by we, I mean definitely her mom. So, like, after this... I don't know, like, Rachel was a lawyer. Becca was a publicist. Like, I don't know what Hannah's, like, job is. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the mom is probably nervous about that going into a marriage with a musician who is also very up in the air with their...
Yeah, I think so. We have to remember Hannah's 24.
Yeah.
She's not very deep in her career.
Yeah.
She's like, 2 years out of college? She's still doing entry-level shit, whatever the hell she's doing.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. Yeah.
We don't know what she's doing because they don't really talk about it. Yeah. Something with interior decorating or design or something. Remember they mentioned that the very beginning?
Yeah.
But either way, she's very early in her career, and... So her parents, if she's trying to get married like ASAP, they want to see her probably with somebody who's a little bit more mature and like well put together, settled down, because it seems like her career and stuff is still in flux. Yeah. So, I want to ask your opinion on something. So, this whole Jed versus Tyler, like, you have Jed who loves her. Mm-hmm. But his career and finances are in flux. And then you have Tyler who loves her, and his life is more stable. Mm-hmm. So they're setting up this, like, comparison of, like, it really just comes down to the money because they both love her equally. Mm-hmm. What is your opinion on, like, that, like, with love and marriage and finances and how all of that kind of, like, plays out?
Yeah, I think that I have different opinions on the way The Bachelor sets it up, but it all comes down to the same thing. I think the way The Bachelor set it up was purely about finances, but I think what we got to before with him saying, I feel inadequate, or they think I'm inadequate, is security. Yeah. I don't think men, especially straight men, feel secure if they're not making money. Point blank, period. And so there's no way they can love you to their fullest capacity if they cannot give to you the way they would like to. And I also think it's something that a woman has to look out for. The way a man gives is very important. Whether it's his time or of his things. It should be both, in my opinion. And I think that in real life, it absolutely comes down to security and self-awareness and all that stuff. But what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's no surprise that love is not enough to make a marriage work. Like, marriages are partnerships. A huge part of that partnership is finances.
Yeah.
And it's not, romantic to talk about, but two people committing for marriage, or two people committing to take care of each other financially and to build a life together for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And finances are a huge cause of many divorces. So I feel like there's probably a ton of people out there, like the Team Jed people, or the people who are maybe like, their parents are so shallow, it's more, there's more to it than just money. And it's like, yeah, but love, we all know that love ain't it. And nobody wants to talk about how you're going to take care of my daughter, but it's a very valid question, because nobody's trying to also be signing divorce papers later because he fucking, I don't even know, cashed out my 401k because his ass is broke. Like,
right, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
also don't want to be taking care of no nigga.
That either.
Like, no.
So I'm glad that they're having this conversation, and that the parents are flat out asking questions like, how are you planning to provide? Because it's not the love. We see the love. That's all great. Y'all love my daughter. That's great. But who's paying these bills?
Right.
Like, how are we going to build a family and a home and a future together?
Yeah.
It's very practical things, but they need to be talked about, because it's not just a fairy tale.
Yeah.
So Hannah sits with her dad, and, how did it go with Jed? And he's like, went well, good conversation. He beat around the bush a little bit. he does have a tendency to over-explain things, while Tyler was a little bit more direct. And Hannah's like, beat around the bush about what? What do you mean? And he's like, well, I asked him about his goals in life and his accomplishments, and he's very proud of the dog food jingle at this point. And Hannah, you can see immediately she's getting defensive.
Yeah. Yep.
And the dad is like, I'm repeating what he said. And I'm repeating what he talked about.
Right.
Like, I'm just laying it out there in that way. And so Hannah, she's, she comes and she's like, of course I want my husband to provide for me, but I'm also going to be very successful, and I'm going to be able to, this literally, you could see it took everything in her being to say these words out loud. She says, I'm going to be able to provide for my family too. Like, you could tell, like, girl, as progressive as Hannah is, as progressive as I am as well, I personally will always have my own money and my own success, and will never rely on a man.
No.
But at the end of the day, in my ideal world, and I know in Hannah's ideal world too, but she's making compromises because she loves Jed. We want men who make more money than us and are able to provide for both of us.
Because men make more money than us.
Money in the world. Thank you.
Don't let me marry no white man and he don't make more money than me. Are you fucking crazy?
Black women, what we making? 64 cents to the white man's dollar? Girl, bye. And Hannah, what is she making? 83 cents or whatever to the white man's dollar? Come on, girl. So as she said it, you could tell she's like fucking like it took everything for her to say those words out loud, because she don't even believe it in her heart. She know damn well she wants somebody who will be able to provide for the both of them.
And that's not how you want to enter the marriage, of like, okay, how are we gonna keep the lights on? Like, you don't think about that after you were just on TV?
Right. Oh my God. So she claims that she's ready to sign up for this life where she's going to be supporting the both of them. Literally, as I say it out loud, it sounds crazy because she didn't even look confident as she said it.
No.
Oh my God. So the dad, now Hannah, she must know her dad would never go for this bullshit. He immediately was like, the man of the house has his obligations too, and he should not be dependent on no woman. And Hannah, she's like, well, she's just trying to sweep this under the rug, right? Oh, well,
yeah.
What did he say about me? What did he say about me? Like, move on from that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he said he does love you. And you can tell the dad, he's not saying how he really feels. He keeps just saying, well, Jed said this, Jed said that.
They're so aware of that fourth wall of those cameras. Like,
Yep. He said this, he said that. And Hannah's like, I can tell you have concerns. Just say what they are. And the dad flat out says, I don't want you to settle for anything. Which is implying that if she chooses Jed, she'll be settling for a life of poverty. No.
See, and he could have literally obliterated this by saying, well, you know what? Every Friday and Thursday, I do a male review down at the Flying Cock for brunch, and all the aunties are throwing those dollars, and that is how I pay the bills.
I don't know why he wasn't saying anything.
Like, he could have been the white male country Cardi B. He could have been out here, stripper, turn, singer, like... You know, sob story. He could have done the whole thing, but no.
No. Oh, my God. You're just giving this dad no reassurance whatsoever.
None. And there's no shame in sex work.
No. I mean, I don't know if you're going to tell the dad flat out I'm a dancer, but he could have spit it in some fucking way. I don't even know. But, yeah, the dad pretty much just lets her know, like, this ain't it, girl. Like... I don't see how this future is going to work with him and how he's going to provide for you. And this, honestly, when I told my dad about Nate, I was thinking back. One of his first questions, too, was, what does he do for a living? What does he do? What are his plans for the future? And that's not to say that my dad's not interested in our love and how we get along, but as a father, you are thinking, how are you going to be provided for? Not even just, he knows I'm going to provide for myself. That's not a problem. But who am I about to sign up to be with, potentially have a future with? And is this somebody that I can entrust my daughter with?
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, I'm right there with the
And
dad.
after you raise a daughter, you see how hard it is. I'm sure you didn't have that perspective as a man growing up, but you see how much harder it is to get your life going when you're a woman working. And so they probably don't want to go through that and then have a man dragging along from the background. There's so many reasons, great reasons why dads ask these questions.
Yes, like so many.
Come on.
Because also we're still on this, but like Hannah, she wants to get married today. She wants to have babies tomorrow. Girl, you gonna be providing for him and having babies? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, living
raising
in the house
children
with Robin and Susan, because that's what you all will be doing.
Exactly. Moving right on back home, and the dad is trying to prevent that, so he's trying to make sure how the hell are these bills gonna get paid, because I'm not trying to pay rent for y'all.
Yep.
So Hannah does not like what she's hearing from her dad, and she kind of storms away and goes and looks out at the ocean. And
I feel like this was the moment that she decided it was going to be Jed.
Oh my God. In this moment?
I think it was. I think she has been trying to prove so much during this entire season, and it wasn't until her last conversation with Jed where she just stopped trying to prove herself. But this was one of the moments where she was just trying to prove, like, he's a good person. We can have a life together anyway. Love is, the Lord told me, yes, whatever. And she decided in this moment that she was going to go with Jed. And I, too, have been a 24-year-old who didn't want to listen to her parents and made some terrible decisions behind it. So I got it. And I'm pretty sure that was the time when she was like, it's Jed.
Oh, Jesus. So she sits with Jed, and he tries to reassure her, and she talks a bit about Tyler, and she's like, he met my parents yesterday, and it went really, really well. And he was very straightforward about how he felt, and now I'm just like super confused. And in my opinion, she was saying way too much to Jed. She needed to be bringing up all that.
Like, what? You don't have a journal? A notebook?
Right. This is where you need to go back inside and talk to your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a stray cat you could talk to? Somebody. Anybody else.
He's not an unbiased person in
No.
this whole thing. Like, you should not be sharing this with him, but whatever. And so Jed, he just tells her, more than anything, I believe in you, I believe in us, you know what we have, and they're just riding on this fairy tale strong love bond that the two of them have, and have no fucking basis in reality, but okay. So the next day, we have Hannah. She's kind of recapping her meet the family with Jed and how definitely didn't go so well. Just as her hometown with Jed didn't go very well. But somehow she's not following the signs here that none of these parents are co-signing this shit, and this shit is not meant to be, girl. So it's time for her final dates with Tyler. And they meet out in this field, and they learn that they're going to go horseback riding again.
Poor Tyler.
Tyler is terrified of horses, and they keep throwing him on one. So they do horseback riding, and then eventually they sit and chat, and Tyler's just recapping how amazing his time was with her family, and Hannah told him how confident her dad was in him and in us, basically. And then Tyler lets her know what I was kind of talking about earlier, how he's really grown emotionally. He said, you've pushed me to a level that I never knew I could even have these open conversations with you and your family. And if I could wake up to you every morning, I'd be the luckiest guy in the world, yada yada. And so during the nighttime portion of their date, Hannah says, Tyler was so much more confident in us, and today was one of the best days ever. And she goes to meet him at this hotel, and they just recap the day again, and so they sit down for dinner and just kind of talk about their perfect connection, basically. And so Hannah, she says about Tyler how he's just the perfect guy. You want to introduce him to everyone that you know, and how she just can really picture herself being with him forever. Yeah. And they leave the dinner and head upstairs and start rolling around in them sheets because they missed out during the fantasy suites time. So, they about to throw down tonight. The next day, or whatever the hell this is, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Yeah. It's time for Hannah's final date with Jed. And she starts off the date by saying, starts off her confessional saying, my one-on-one with Tyler was amazing. Couldn't have gone any better. So what the fuck knows what's going to happen on this Jed date? So for their date, they learn that they're going to go out on a catamaran. And when the boat goes out, the water is like rocky as hell. And Hannah gets motion sickness.
I would rather jump in the ocean than do any of
the worst feeling. Why they don't give these people Dramamine or anything before they send them out on these boats? Her last date, she spent her day on a boat, fucking motion, seasick. Well,
really, and we know it was the Lord telling her that she needs to break up with this man, but still, logistically, this wasn't fair.
But still. So on the boat, they sit and attempt to have a chat, and you can immediately just notice a stark difference in energies between Jed and Tyler.
Yeah. Hannah seems like she's like testing Jed, unsure with Jed. She seems extremely secure with Tyler.
Absolutely. And Tyler, too, just presents as very confident, like he knows this is it. And Jed is very anxious, nervous, and like, as I said, he hasn't smiled in like 4 episodes because he's like so like humdrum about everything. And so he talks to her about how he knows like her father did not believe in him, and like one thing that kind of pissed me off, he was like, he doesn't understand like. Talk about Hannah's dad. He doesn't understand the other stuff that I do, but I didn't go into it. But I do other stuff besides music. Why you didn't say this shit when you were with the dad?
You didn't give the dad a chance to give an opinion on those other things,
right? So why? What other things are you involved in? Why wouldn't you reassure the dad by letting him know, like? Yes, sir, my music is my passion. That's the thing I like strive for the most. But I also do, Airbnb on the side, and I do some like freestyle dancing. I'm gonna make some shit up. Like,
freestyle dancing.
Something. I work as a handyman.
Yes.
Show me how you piece coins together and you hustle.
Yes. Because it's not exactly about like the exact like net revenue or like your profit at the end of the day, but it's that you're going out and you can be hardworking.
Yes.
Because ain't nothing worse than a lazy man. Oof.
Ain't nothing worse than somebody lazy. But if you are pursuing your musician by day, but you have 6 other jobs at night that pay the bills and you have savings, all that stuff, like as a father, I could see the dad respecting that because he knows I got a man who is going to hustle and make sure that my daughter is provided for and I don't have to worry about that because he's not lazy and he's going to be out here. But he didn't say any of that. He's bringing up now on the boat with Hannah. Like, how's that going to help you? But also, Jed, I don't think Jed is a hustler. I don't think he can say those things. I don't think he is doing all this shit. He's playing his music and he's stripping every other Saturday. Like, that's basically it. So, time for the nighttime portion of their date. Hannah meets him at his hotel room. Again, the energy is very concerning, very low. And Jed just tells her, like, I want to apologize in advance for tonight because I'm very anxious and I just want you to know that I can't picture my life without you. Just, like, laying it all on thick.
And just trying to grasp onto her any way he can. Which is, I think, why he said the thing about the jobs against her dad. Which was very manipulative.
Right.
And
your dad doesn't believe in me. He doesn't know what I do.
Right.
Because you didn't tell him. You didn't give him anything to believe in besides that fucking dog jingle, and that wasn't much, boy.
No.
So Hannah, she tells him, like, my dad was skeptical of the whole music thing and how that was stable, you know, how that's going to be stable for a family. And we just have to find a balance because of one of us is going to have to sacrifice at one point or another for the other person. And as she's saying that, you can literally see she looks exhausted at the mere thought of providing for the both of them.
Oh my God.
Like, she keeps saying it. She keeps saying that she's ready for this life, but, like, Hannah ain't ready for this life.
That's the thing. And this is, like, real life and real marriage. Like, this is what, like, real married people go through. And this is supposed to be the fun part. And none of this is fun anymore with Jed.
No. Because it's at the very beginning and it's new. Like, this happens all the time where even my parents, my dad graduated medical school. He was fucking in debt, making $0, like, as a resident. My mom was the breadwinner. She had to help along. But they had been together for so many years at that point, but that she knew what she was signing up for with him.
And he got an education and was out working as a doctor.
Right, and had a pathway to success at some point. With Hannah, she's signing up from Jump Street with this man that she's only known for 2 months, who has not laid out a clear future plan or a 5-year plan or any type of goal setting. Like, I haven't seen anything.
Who openly admitted that he got on the show to catapult himself to fame. So he's already using her from, like, week 4.
Oh my God. Just, right out there. I am lazy. I came on here to try and push this
the cheat codes.
Fame.
Try and get the cheat code.
Exactly. Oh my God. Girl, you don't want this life. You do not. It'd be one thing if they'd been together for 5 years and she's ride or die with him and she sees that, you know, we're going to make this work and whatever. But to sign up for this life with somebody you only know for 2 months, nah, I can't co-sign this. This is nuts. And so Jed, he just talks a good talk. I want more than anything to take care of you. I feel like with you, I can do anything.
Of course you can, because she's catapulting you to fame.
Right.
Like,
he's already counted the Instagram dollars that he about to get. Oh, man. So he's saying all these words, and Hannah, in her face, she doesn't really look that convinced or that happy. Even when she gives him a goodbye, she gives him a very whack little kiss on, like a little peck.
Yeah, it was whack.
And then another little side peck at the door. Like, it wasn't, she didn't even leave herself looking very convinced. And so we're back on stage with Chris Harrison, and he's with Hannah. and they're like, we'll be back tomorrow for part 2. And then Hannah's like, well, there's something I do want to say. And she gives a whole disclaimer preface for what the fuck we're about to witness. Tomorrow, she says, since the last day in Greece, the last couple of months have been really tough. There's a lot of rumors. And tomorrow night, I don't know what's going to happen. I have a lot of questions that need to be answered. So, again,
giving it away.
They're just giving it away.
Yeah.
So, going to the part 2 of the finale, we have Hannah waking up in the morning. This is the morning that she is going to give her final rose.
Get engaged. Yep.
Get engaged. And she starts off by saying, I've changed. I'm a different woman.
Agreed.
She says, I have changed. I'm a different woman. On this show, basically, you have to show every part of yourself. And particularly if you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone. And I've definitely done that. And, I think of the girl I used to be. I was very dependent and needed validation from everyone, and never felt enough. And now I have a whole different mindset of who I am. And she says, I don't need a man in my life, but I want one to experience this full life with.
Yep.
And amen, sister.
I know.
I was hoping she would get to that conclusion, because she came in very hot and heavy. 24, I want to get married, I need a husband. It's like, you don't need any of these men. We want them to experience this life and to make our life richer, but you have to know that you will be fine without them. So.
And she comes from a place where there's a lot of pressure, so I can only imagine. I don't know.
So the guys are meeting with crispy fried Neil Lane to
He does look like an overdone yuca fry.
Like a drumstick.
Yes,
from KFC.
yes.
Oh my God, this man just keeps getting crispier and crispier.
He does.
So Tyler picks out this big ass fucking 2 chains ring. Shit was glistening. That shit was huge.
I never love how they display the rings on the show. I always think they should do it with some better lighting.
Oh, really?
Because sometimes you can't see the sparkle that you can under jewelry lighting. You know what I mean?
That shit was blinding me through the screen. I don't know what you was looking at, girl.
I don't know. I was like, this should be lit better. But anyway.
Yeah. So he picks out this big fat ass ring with a bajillion diamonds on it. It was pretty, but it was just a lot. And then Jed picks out my worst shape ever, the oval ring.
Oval. I mean, oval's bad.
Ring.
I don't think it's worse than pear. Personally, pear is,
Yeah, pear is horrendous.
Yeah, pear's not my favorite.
Oval's a close second. Picks out an oval ring and then talks about how it represents some bullshit about
what?
the 2 of them.
Because
I don't know. Something about them being constant or a continuous.
Like so in the square, my nigga. You don't know how shapes work? Anyway, whatever.
So Hannah, she's driving in the SUV, and she's headed to her last rose ceremony, basically. And she's talking about how a life with Tyler is so different than a life with Jed. You fucking think?
Yeah, it is. Agreed.
And stark difference, my friend. Struggle or no struggle. Pick your point. Pick your choice. Oh God. So she's driving the SUV. She's headed, and you can tell she's super nervous and anxious, and she just starts shaking her head and saying she can't do this, I can't do this, and asks them to pull over the car. And she gets out and starts walking away. She slips and falls. This whole big thing, and she's just I just can't do this.
Yeah.
She's just freaking out at the prospect of going to tell one of these guys that she's picking somebody else and you need to leave right now. Her dress, by the way, was gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And had a train. I love a train.
Yes. White, high neck, low back, had a train. It was this beaded applique material. Great dress.
Reminded me of Rachel's dress that she got engaged in.
did, yes. Very reminiscent of Rachel, the high neck, low back thing. So eventually she kind of gathers herself and says that she's ready and heads off to the final rose ceremony and says that today something's ending and something's also beginning, which is like wild and horrifying to think about.
It is, yeah. Every time someone, I guess they all describe it as something different, but every time somebody describes it, it's like, fuck, man, that is really wild to go through with that emotional roller coaster in one day.
I wish they had like a week in between.
I know.
Or something.
Yeah.
For it to happen back to back is like emotionally a whole lot to take on. So both guys are driving up. Car pulls up, and we always know the first guy out is the guy going home. First guy out the limo was Tyler.
So sad.
So she has picked a life of struggle over
and strife and, being with a lazy white man, which why you would ever pick that life, I don't know. But
I do not know, girl.
Here we are.
Very, very confusing.
But you know what? In thinking about it, and I was doing a more analysis yesterday, sometimes when you are on the sort of very intense self-love journey that Hannah is on, you purposely run from people who can take care of you because you want to prove you can take care of yourself.
Oh my God.
Sometimes that happens.
That just then you're like undoing all the self-love that you're currently in the process of doing.
Well,
it's
not even that. You're just trying to really work out that like I can do this. You know what I mean? Versus
and like I'm big and bad and strong.
Yes.
I can do it for the both of us. Even.
Not even for the both of us. We can do it. I can get us through this. We can do it. Versus a life that could be, I don't know, more boring, or somebody takes care of you and then you resent them or something like that. But that's the most I can pull from this. Otherwise, I don't know why she picked that lazy white man. But anyway.
I don't know why. So perplexing.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around this, but all right. So Tyler, he's just so confident.
Yeah.
Poor Tyler, it just breaks my heart. He said the future holds for us a love and a bond that will never break. She's the woman of my dreams. Whew. So Tyler walks up to Hannah and goes straight into his little speech that he has all prepared.
A long one.
Hannah Brown, a long one. Hannah Brown, the moment I met you, I've been captivated with your soul. I've grown so much emotionally and spiritually. I'm so madly in love with you. And just goes off into his little speech, and then she interrupts him. And that's the minute you get interrupted, you just know. You know. And he kind of looks off into the distance, and then he says, this isn't it.
Yeah.
And she lets him know, like, I'm so lucky to be loved by you. You've supported me. You've been so sweet and strong. And have done everything I've asked more and more for. And our life would be amazing, but I love somebody else. And poor Tyler's just stunned, heartbroken. Yeah. I felt so sad for him because I feel like, as I said, I feel like he did some growing up on this show.
Yeah.
He keeps thanking her for how much she's pushed him emotionally and how he's wowed at himself and that he's been able to open up so emotionally as he has with her. And I feel like that's something that he's probably closed himself off a lot through either past relationships, the devastation with his father, his parents' divorce. Yeah. I think emotionally he's probably like shut down a bit. Yeah. And now coming on this show, he's like kind of opened up that side to him again. Yeah. And so he's like, fuck, now this again. God. So, he says, he kind of tries to keep it together. He said, it's going to hurt, but I'm still going to be your biggest cheerleader rooting for you. I wish you and Jed nothing but success.
Oh, so nice.
And, they just hug it out.
Yeah.
And
that was a graceful bow out. That was a really good exit.
It was a really strong, or he's snapping back into his old ways where he just kind of like shoves his emotions down. Yeah. Which can also be a sad little strong ending, but could be sad too because he's not showing his emotions. But she walks him out and packs him up in the SUV, and that's it. It was like very abrupt.
Yeah,
it was a very abrupt ending.
Yeah.
We see him in the SUV where he just says, "I thought this was it. I've never been able to open up. It really took Hannah to pull that out of me." And he's just kind of like in the SUV, devastated.
Yeah.
So immediately after, Hannah heads back to the rose ceremony to get her proposal. Like, hop, skip, jump, let's go. Like, no gap in between.
None.
Oh, God.
I guess, I mean, if I had a gap in between Tyler and Jed and I chose Jed, if there was even like 30 minutes, I'd be like, yo, where's that Suburban? Bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah. Too much time to like second guess, I guess. Yeah. That's true. That's probably why they do it so quick. So Jed is on his way, and as I'm watching him come, I can't believe that the musician who told her that he came here for ulterior motives is actually running the show.
I can't believe.
Like, he warned her. He told her, I came here for some bullshit. And he still made it all the way through to the end.
He warned her. His mother warned her. His sister warned her.
Yes.
Her father warned her. And her mother warned her. And Jesus warned her on that boat with those rocky waters.
Those rocky ass waves. I can't make sense of this. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's just, I think it is, she's more in love with him. That's what it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
She followed her heart through and through, ignored the practical reality things about their relationship not being able to work.
Yep.
And just went full throttle with her heart. So Jed's SUV pulls up and he steps out carrying his motherfucking guitar. God. Because he is, to the very last drop, still trying to promote his fucking singing career. Oh my God. And just because we know all that we know about him, it just looks so slimy. Just disgusting. So he goes to Hannah and gives his little speech. The light that you have inside of you burns brighter than I could ever imagine. I didn't think I could love someone this much and this fast. And then how he's sometimes not good with his words with speaking, and so he breaks out into song.
Which
sings.
You all know, we warned you. These men who can manipulate these words around and just make them rhyme.
Gave his little song, and they hug and kiss, and she tells him, I've always prayed for my future husband ever since I was a little girl, and I sometimes question the struggle and the heartbreak that God has put in my life. There's so many times I thought this person was the one and it wasn't them, and I never knew why until right now, because I'm here with you. And I was like, girl, this is another test that God is throwing you to, because this ain't your man. You still going through it. Yeah. God ain't done with you yet.
No, he's not. No.
He is not. Ooh, God. And then she tells him, I love you so much. I'm in complete love with you. I love you, Jed Wyatt. And basically lets him know that he's the one.
Yep.
And I've lived 25 years of my life without you, and I don't want to go another day. Gets down on one knee and asks her to marry him. Oh my God.
And he has a whole ass girlfriend.
A whole ass girlfriend.
He's a sociopath, man.
Had to know that this shit was gonna come out. Like,
right, because you never broke up with her.
You never broke up with her. Like, oh my God, I can't. So they kiss and hug, and he gets the final rose, and they're chanting "I love you" and screaming they're engaged and all this good shit. And
that little song he made.
This whack ass little song. So we head to the studio audience, and Chris Harrison lets us know that unfortunately that's not where this journey ends.
I hope not.
Right. And he said, let me say it this way, Jed is about to face the music. Hardy har har. And so after commercial break, we come back, and Hannah and Jed are on the vlog.
Yes.
On the vlog. And they're in Greece. This is right after their engagement, talking about how happy they are to be engaged. We got all this footage of them dancing and having fun and talking about how great her life is with Jed and how sweet and sincere
This would
and
be
honest
great with anyone. If she was with Demi, this would be great. If she was with Katie, this would be great. This is just vacation. Like,
and then we have Hannah in an interview, and she tells us how the second night after we got engaged, he told me that he had been hanging out with a girl a week before the show. But then he told Hannah that it was nothing and that he broke it off with her. Then a few weeks later, Hannah tells us that the People magazine article comes out. Now, this ain't Reality Steve. This ain't Star Magazine. This is People magazine. This shit is legit. And she says the article came out, and the article said that they didn't end the relationship, and she's now seeing that what she said yes to with Jed is not what she thought she was saying yes to, basically. And she lets us know that this past week has been the hardest week, ever, screaming and crying. And I don't know when they filmed this, so the timing was kind of
yeah, I wish they put a timestamp, but
yeah, was filmed. And she just says, I don't know how I feel about Jed at this point. I love the person I got engaged to, but I don't know this person.
Yeah.
Because literally a whole second life came out about him.
No, polygamy. Yeah.
No. Polygamy, exactly. So then we see Hannah in this house, and Jed pulls up in an SUV to come and chat with her. And it was very reminiscent of the Ari breakup with Becca.
Very. Because they were in a random house. We know Hannah don't live there. It was
a random house, and they're gonna film this catastrophic breakup or something, and it just felt icky to be there. But I have my popcorn now because I want to see how this can go down. So Jed comes in, they hug. He says, "I missed you." She says nothing back. And they sit and hash it out. And she says, "Why did you wait for me to find out the way that I found out?" He had so many opportunities to let her know, and he let People magazine let her know. That is so dumb.
Tell
Jed.
his
you
business.
could have controlled the story.
Right.
Yes. So here he come with his lies already, where there's two very different views of what happened. And so she's like, just tell me everything. So his story is that I met this girl, in October, and I was very single and being young and having fun, and I didn't feel like it was an exclusive thing. To me, it never felt like it was a relationship. And so Hannah asked him, were you dating other girls at the time? And he was like, yeah, but, I spent most of my time with her. I hung out with her the most.
Right. So he was playing her.
So you were playing her, but you were also full on dating her, it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. And so he then continues, he's like, we went out with friends a few times, we did sleep together, and then we went on a trip to Gallenberg.
Some cabin, whatever.
Some cabin. They had a little vacation together. And Hannah was shocked. She was like, just the two of y'all?
Yeah.
Y'all went on vacation and you guys weren't dating? Because he's still to this moment, he's still denying that he was dating this girl.
That was his girlfriend, yeah.
Right, but Hannah's now learning that they went on vacation together. And she was like, were you still hooking up? And, with other people, whatever. And she's like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I was.
Which is so trifling.
Which is just horrendous. He said, we went to Gallenberg, and, it also happened to be close to my parents' house. So we stopped at my parents' house, and she met my family.
It's like he's saying this and telling this as if it's all happenstance, as if he was just a bystander in this thing that was not a relationship nor dating.
Yes, he was very much distancing himself from the whole thing. We happened to be close to my parents' house, so she met my parents. Not I introduced her to my parents, I brought her home to my parents.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is what it was.
Well, No, he has an apartment. I was about to say, that's your home. That's where she dropped you off. But that's not where he was dropped off. He has his own apartment. And they could have gone straight there. He chose. He was making choices.
Yeah, to bring her to meet his parents. Yep. So then he says, in January, she ended up throwing me a surprise birthday party.
She ended up. And
then her parents also ended up buying us a surprise trip to the Bahamas. Do you hear yourself, Jed?
Oh my God. But you were never dating. You prefaced this by saying you were never dating.
And that was Hannah's next question, and you still don't call this dating. She literally said that. Oh my God. And so he's like, afterwards I got reached out for the show, and, I told her about it, and she was all excited. But, it's kind of weird to date someone who's going on a reality show, a dating show. Mm-hmm. And Hannah's like, yeah, but you came here for your music, which is what you told me. And you probably told her that and reassured her with that. Yep.
She knew.
Which I'm glad she called that out.
Yeah,
She knew. Because he's trying to spin it on the girl and be like, well, she's kind of weird that she was still trying to date me. And she's like, you were probably still trying to date her too, because you flat out told her you were going on the show to promote your music, which is what you told me. And she felt reassured with that, knowing that you were going to come back home.
Yeah, he's like telling these like pockets of truth. But not the whole truth, to try to get out of it.
Not the full truth. No. Yeah, it's so clear that he's not giving the full story. Oh, yeah. Like, it's so clear. And he's like, yeah, well, we did talk about that a little bit. And, then there was also this one night I had been drinking, and I might have told her that I loved her.
But you were never dating. Still
ain't your girl. You are still not claiming this girl. And he said, I knew it was a mistake because I was leaving to go on the show. But, when I left for LA to come on the show, for me, that was our goodbye. That was our final goodbye.
He's using the wrong pronouns.
Yes. And Hannah's like, how is that a goodbye? Because I saw the text messages. Right. You told her, but right before you left, that you loved her. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, I said goodbye in my heart, but not really verbally.
Not really.
And so Hannah, she's just stuck on the I love you part. And she's like, what do those words even mean to you? Like, you also slept with her the night before you left. Like, you told her you loved her in a final text message. You slept with her, yet, like, this ain't your girl. Like, what are you talking about right now? And then Hannah goes in and reveals that. Evidence. She's like, oh, God. All the receipts came out. She said, I also have text messages from some girls the other night when I was out in Nashville. And apparently Hannah went to visit him in Nashville, and when she left, maybe that next night, he was hanging out with some friends, and some girls came over to their place. And I don't know if those girls reached out to Hannah, or it wasn't very clear, but she had some receipts, and he looked at the text message. He was like, yeah, I didn't even know who they were. And Hannah's like everything that you do reflects on me and reflects on us. Right.
And then she was like, but you threw them in the pool. And he was like, oh, yeah, we threw them in the pool. Like, he keeps just omitting these parts of the story.
He's not telling. He waits for her to say something, and then he's like, oh, yeah, that also happened. Like, he's not saying it himself. Yeah. She has to tease every little syllable out of him. So Hannah, she's just like, when I came into this process, I knew what I wanted. I was so in the right place for this. I knew I was ready to be engaged. I've been working on myself, doing all of the steps to get here. I knew it. And it just feels like you just came here for your career, and you were using me in the process. Which, yes, girl, that's exactly what it was.
That's all true. Yeah,
all true.
He told you that, but
he also told you. And then Jed's just like, yeah, what do I need to do to, like, alleviate all that? Like, what can I do? And I hate this question so much. That. Come up with your own answer, nigga. Why are you so lazy? She got to give you the answers, too, on top of being emotionally distressed by your ass. She also has to provide the solutions for this immense, ridiculous issue that you've created.
And all you can do at this point you can't change, you can't do anything. You have to leave me alone.
Yeah, period.
At this point, if you care anything about this girl or whatever, you have to just leave her alone.
Yep, because nothing you can say right now is going to explain all the lies that you did not tell me and that are being teased out right now in this conversation. So Hannah,
People Magazine.
Yeah, People Magazine, exactly. So Hannah storms out, gets a breather, comes back, and Jed is just like, you're everything I've ever wanted and needed in a woman. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. Where do you want me to grow? Where can I be better?
Oh my God.
And Hannah's like, I just need 100% honesty. Like, what? She's like, what was going on in your mind that first night when Scott was that guy that came on the show with the girlfriend and she sent him home night one. She's like, when you were watching all the Scott thing, like, what was going on in your head? And he's like, but I didn't have a girlfriend. Like, now looking back at it, it was a shitty thing to do. I probably maybe should have told you during the fantasy suites. I did hold back some details. But that's because I, was afraid that you would walk away from me. And that also is the worst thing to hear, because it's like, so you withheld details from me, and now I'm trapped in this bullshit with you. I've chosen you on false pretenses, and now I'm trapped and I'm here with you. And
you're such a fucking narcissistic psychopath that you would rather keep me and keep this other girl, clearly, than just tell the truth.
Yeah. Because he is a whack ass immature loser. That's all it is. And he says, I did so much soul searching when I was here on the show, and then when I got home, because clearly it sounds like you kind of start to backslide, like all this text with the girls and all that messy shit. Yeah. And Hannah's like, yeah, you went back home and you told all your friends that you won. Yeah. And it sounds like he did go back and actually said verbatim to the people, like, I won. And she's like, now that just makes me rethink everything. And it's totally making sense why your family was so skeptical. Like, no wonder they were. And she's just pissed. She's like, I deserve to know all of this. I could have made my own decision, but I feel like I made a decision on, again, like, false pretenses.
Yeah, it's like everything was clicking to her.
And, the first step is honesty about your past, but your past is now in the current, and it's also affecting our future. And she says, what we see in the preview, I feel like this experience was taken away from me, and I didn't know all the details. Yeah, it really was, because no one wants to get proposed to multiple times. You only want that shit to happen once. And now it's like, great, now my one time that I thought in my head is now totally tainted. So all he can do is apologize, say, you don't deserve this, I want to be with you, I want better for us, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And Hannah ends up taking off her engagement ring. Yep. And tells him, like, this doesn't mean the same thing. This is not what I said yes to. And sets that ring right down on the table. So back in the studio audience with Chris, he brings Hannah out. Again, looking bomb.
Amazing.
Skin tight. This is like glued on. Like one strap, bright pink dress. And she's just like, I can't believe this is like the conversation that we're having right now.
I know. Did you notice she was in like full pageant mode though?
Yeah, she put on a brave face.
Yeah.
Because this is some bullshit that she's gonna have to do right now on national television in front of everybody.
Again,
exactly. So she kind of just recaps the whole, story about finding out, People Magazine, all that stuff. And so Chris Harrison asks, like, where does your relationship stand now? And she reveals to everyone, I'm not with Jed anymore. And the crowd goes fucking wild. Applauses and everything. And she says the engagement is over. They're not together. And she says, as we said, like, there's things I said on my engagement day, and, that was my day, and it was taken away from me. Because all of those things that you say, like, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, like, those are things you literally only want to say to one person, and she had to...
Yeah.
She now realizes this is not the person. So Jed then comes out, and my TV kind of conked out, so I'm assuming he didn't get any claps from people.
Oh, maybe 3. I was like, damn, his mother here? But I don't even think she would clap, so I don't even...
Right. She ain't supporting this foolishness. So he comes out and just goes into his apology again. I want you to know that I'm sorry. I fully see now I wasn't the best that I could be. And, you know, I never expected to find the love of my life on the show. And I'm sorry I took this experience away from you. I'm responsible for this. I own up to this. He has, I mean, this is all he can do.
Right, because he's canceled. He wants to be famous country singer. That's definitely not going to happen.
Nope. The articles are out. The interviews are out. You can't backtrack anymore. Like, we all know the full ass story now because we've seen the text messages. And so he just also says, like, you know, I wish I would have known more about the show, coming on the show, because I never would have thought I would have found the love of my life. It's like he signed up thinking this was like a whole game, and he's like shocked that he made it to the end and found love. Like, what fucking show did you think you were going on? Like, I don't get it.
Also, the fact that I guess he was scouted. His language is saying like he was scouted to be on the show.
Sounds like it.
So I don't know, because we've all seen that picture of them in the Bahamas, those two. All you have to do on Instagram is go right to the right and see tagged photos.
Right.
It is not difficult to see if somebody recently had a vacation with another person.
Right.
Why?
I mean, the producers knew this whole fucking thing. I mean, I figured that goes without saying. Like, we know that they knew this all along.
They did.
They absolutely they knew all of this because Peter's homegirl did her interview. She said that he untagged her and unliked and did all this. He did all the work. Jed, it seems like he went into this whole process all willy-nilly. So I don't think he did the scrubbing and cleaning that Peter did. So they full on knew what the fuck they were getting with Jed. So but I thought that goes without saying because you can't trust these producers for one
they're
bit.
terrible. Oof.
That's the worst. And, you know, Chris Harrison, you know, why didn't you come clean? He's like, I was acting out of fear. I felt, again, the lies. I felt I had closure on my part with Homegirl, but it's clear now that it wasn't the same for others. So...
Yeah, because you didn't say anything.
There wasn't closure. You literally told her I loved you and fucked her the night before you left for the show.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay. And so Hannah, she's sitting strong. I appreciate the apology. I know this hasn't been easy for you and your family. You know, I did fall in love with you. I know that person is inside there somewhere. And, you know, I hope that from this you will be honest and learn and grow into the man I believe you can be for whoever in your future. And, you know, Hannah, she just continues on, like, I'm not trying to punish you, but my feelings have changed. And once that trust is broken, I feel like my feelings were broken as well. And I don't love you like that anymore.
Yep.
And Chris Harrison flat out asks her, so is this over? And she says yes.
Yep.
So that door is closed, signed, sealed.
Slammed shut. Yep.
Slammed shut. So Jed leaves the stage. Hannah's there by herself, again, talking about how proud she is of the person she's become. She says, I am hella strong. And then Chris Harrison brings up Tyler. Because now Hannah is no longer an engaged woman. She's back single on the market.
Yep, single out here.
Oh my God. Can you imagine doing a whole damn Bachelor season and end up single a month later?
No. I could not imagine being surrounded by people who fucking knew this was going to happen to me.
That too. That would drive me nuts.
I would lose it. And then I have to like be on live TV for a week and a half alone when everybody else has done this with somebody. Oh my God, I would lose my mind.
I would literally go insane. This is
oh my God,
wild. And now I'm back here single. Like, fuck. So Hannah, she says about Tyler that, I've been grieving that relationship. Those feelings don't just go away. And, of course, the crowd goes fucking wild. And she's smiling and kind of awkward. And Chris Harrison's like, well, let's bring out Tyler. And Tyler comes out looking more like a Kennedy than he's ever looked.
Like a buffet again.
Like
just
a
looking like a
buffet.
food court.
Oh, food court.
Oof. God.
And Hannah, she's all smiles. She's very nervous. This is the first time they've seen each other, even since she broke up with him in Greece. And Tyler, he's all smiles too. He says, I've been looking forward to this day. I've loved watching you this whole season, just how strong and powerful you've been. And, she's a fighter. She's the strongest person I've met. And I know she'll bounce back. The world is hers, like the whole big thing. And he kind of recaps, the day that they broke up, how he was so nervous in the morning. He was throwing up. He was so nervous. And just how he felt so great about the whole day. And so Hannah, she shares, everything I said to you, I meant. And everything I felt, those feelings don't just go away. I do have feelings. And, I'm really confident who I am and taking everything I learned and, what I want in the next relationship. She's like positioning herself for sliding back in there. And then a homegirl says, I want somebody to be bold and you're an incredible guy and I'm a single girl and
let's do this.
Do you want to go out for a drink and hang out? And I'm screaming, the audience is screaming.
I was going crazy in my house.
Oh my God, I was so happy. First of all, Tyler just deserves just the world because
yes, he does. He's amazing.
He's just so sweet, and I mean his persona on the show, who we see him on Instagram and Twitter. He's just like, I just love this dude. And yeah, I'm happy that he's getting. I mean, it fucking sucks to be like Plan B or like the second choice. Yeah. That definitely doesn't sit very easy, but he's not even letting that get to him. He straight out said to her, like, let me know when and where I'm there. Like he can't deny the feelings that he has for her too, and that they're gonna give it a shot.
And it's nice that he's open to it.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, so they're gonna give it a go, and basically in the end we have Hannah, another switcheroo. She picked one guy, he turned out to not be shit. She's choosing the other guy now, and we'll just have to watch in real time in the Instagram world what becomes of Hannah and Tyler, if anything. Or will Gigi Hadid
slide in? Oh my God, will it be a love triangle?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And that was the episode, my friends. That was the season. Whew, that was a doozy.
It was a wild ride.
Next week is Bachelor in Paradise. We are back. It is going to be... The previews look great. It's going to be an amazing cast. Blake is going to be there. We fucking love Blake. We love some Blake. Tasia is going to be getting love. And we saw Brown Hand get an engagement ring at the end.
Yes, and we saw Katie reading out a fantasy suite card.
Yup. Demi is going to be out here in these streets getting loved down by every damn body, women and men. So I'm ready for Paradise. We'll be back to recap just next week. Episodes will come out on Thursday. And it's been a hell of a season, Justine. It
has. My goodness. I feel like this season was like Colton's last episodes, but the whole season.
The whole season. Yes.
Because Colton's season didn't really get good until the last like 3 episodes. But this was
to the very end. This whole season put us through it, and then this ending right here. But wow, didn't think at the end I'd be a Hannah B fan. And even to the very end, she's still frustrating the hell out of me. I don't know why she didn't choose Tyler. I don't know why she chose like still making horrible decisions. But I'm just happy to see her journey with herself and her self-love and her self-discovery. And she really made us proud. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with her and Tyler in real world.
And her. independently.
And her in general. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So that's it, folks. We'll be back next week. It is literally 1:27 a.m.
1:30.
Justine has been yawning.
Oh, girl, I'm exhausted.
Big ass yawns. I see you.
Damn near sleeping.
And I'm sweating balls because this AC is off.
Sweating.
And
Yes.
it's hot as shit.
Yep.
But we'll be back next week. Rate, review, subscribe. Hit us up on Twitter, email, Facebook. Tag us in your stories. Share us with the world. We'll be back for paradise. And we'll talk to you then. Bye.